Welcome back, everybody, to today's Memorial Day episode of Around the Loop. I would actually like to take a moment of silence in honor of all our fallen brothers and sisters that have served in the armed forces. Alrighty, so thank you guys very much. And welcome back to today's episode of Around the Loop. It's a Memorial Day special, so I just want to let you guys know this is different from all the other episodes. And I mean, shit, no episode's the same. That's the goal. So wanted to give a special shout out to all the audience, all the supporters, all the friends and family that have helped me get here, that have supported me through this process. We finally reached actually over 300 views, total views, not views per episode, but total views. And one day the goal is to do 300 views per episode or more. But we're gonna get there shortly. We will. We definitely will. So I couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you guys so much for all the support. And yeah, continue to support, continue to share with your friends and family. I mean, it's to each their own. It's not this isn't for everybody. Some people may like it, some people may not. But hey, to each their own. That's all I gotta say. So also that it's Memorial Day special. We also have a special guest, today as well. And want to let you guys know, special guest. He's a brother in arms, a double dog. But truly not least, my very own brother, who also served along with me in the service. We happened to be in the service at the same time. Actually, there was a point where we were both in the service at the same time. Um, Goes by the name of Corporal Delgado. Actually, that's what he served and came out as. But his name is Johnny as well. So we'll introduce him in the episode later on. So thank you guys very much. And that's gonna be that. Looking forward to that, guys. Honestly, it's gonna be cool having my own brother on the episode, and why not better than having two Marines that served to do this episode, to host this episode together. So, like what I like to do for these interesting episodes, these specials, is to go over some history, to give you guys some history and to teach the audience there is history behind every holiday, reason why we celebrate it, reason why I guess the US celebrates it. So there is history behind Memorial Day. And we're going to go all the way back to 1868, and this was cited off of Google. You can check it out. It's an unofficial government website if you guys want to look it up. Don't ask me what the fucking website is because I don't know, but it's on there. Google it. It's not that hard. So it starts off with 3 years after the Civil War ended on May 5th, 1868. The head of the Organization of the Union Veterans, the Grand Army of Republic (GAR), established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. Major Major General John A. Logan declared it should be May 30th. History behind Memorial Day. Well, let me tell you guys. So, Memorial Day, a federal holiday held the last Monday in May, is the nation's foremost annual day to mourn and honor its deceased servicemen and women, originally called Decoration Day. It was formalized by a Memorial Day order issued by the Grand Army of Republic Commander-in-Chief John A. Logan in 1868. And that is basically the introduction and the base core foundation of how Memorial Day started for everybody that is curious. And so just letting you guys know some news and history there for everybody. Also, as we continue with this episode and progress, I think it's time for you guys to get to hear my brother out. Yeah, and let me introduce you guys to him. Like I said before, back in the introduction, a brother in arms, clearly a devil dog as well. He also was a United States Marine. Big props to him as well. And also, like I said, he was a corporal as well. That's what he came out as. That's what he came out as. So, look no further more, but want to introduce my brother. And, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jill, for having me on the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whoever and wherever you may be hearing this from. Um, Very excited to be on the podcast today. Uh, I'm Gio's younger brother. My name's Jonathan, but I go by Johnny. Um, Former I'm a veteran as well, USMC. Proudly served, and yeah, thank you for having me on the show today. I'm ready to just get to have the audience know a little bit more about me, and maybe just a little bit more about us and why we both, really idolize and we care about the importance of Memorial Day. So back to you, Jill.
So, like I said, I want to say thank you very much for being on the show today. I'm looking forward to hosting this episode with you. And, you know, as you guys, as the audience sits here and listens on this episode today, it's a time of mourning, but it's also a time of remembrance of the loved ones that have served, all the folks, whether it was your grandparents, your dad, your mom, your uncle, sister, brother, even your neighbor, by all means, everybody has played an important role in history, whether or not they believe it or not, but everybody has. And some folks are out there on Memorial Day too. I'm not trying to bag on you guys, but some out there are just for the the discounts. And you know, if you're out there for discounts, that's on you. But that's not
Not
what this
for
is
real, yeah.
about. Not at all. So I wanted to take a trip down memory lane, and what I mean by that on this topic, on today's topic of taking a trip down memory lane, we're gonna go over um reminiscing stories of the past from me and my brother, of the folks we served with that are no longer here with us today. Um, and rest in peace to all the folks that were with us at one point and are no longer here. Um, but I know you guys are up there, and there's a special place for all the Marines up there, and that's a fact. So, um, there, start off with the memory lane story for me was, well, shit, I got a couple people, but one of them, the first one was my buddy Farley, rest in peace, Farley. Believe he was a corporal at the time, or Lance. But Garrett Farley, rest in peace. He,
Rest in peace, brother.
yeah, he passed away in a motorcycle accident outside of 29 Palms. Uh, but
Damn.
we were in boot camp together. He was actually my not my bunk mate, but he was the rack mate over,
Yeah.
and it was really cool because it was me, Garrett or Farley, Deloach, my bunkmate, and we had Christian Honey too. Rest in peace. He's also gonna be part of the episode as well.
Rest in peace, brother.
He um he was part of our little prayer group too. We had a little group that we would pray at in the evenings and stuff like that. But we kind of kept it tight. We had my buddy Pina. We had my buddy Champion Flores. Um, there was a little handful of us that we got together and we kept it tight. But uh, yeah. So with Garrett, like I remember boot camp was interesting because we were all in the we were all in it for a surprise. And
Hmm.
I remember he was in ROTC too because he talked about his time that he was in ROTC, and I
Yeah.
even talked about my time, and it was cool because we knew how, like, we knew drill and stuff like that. So when the drill instructor would ask who knew how to do drill and shit, like, we would be out there. But shit, I didn't really know how to fucking drill, but I was there. I was fucking making it happen, whatever. And I remember one of the memories I had, one of the closest and distinctive memories I had with Garrett was we were in I was in boot camp, and I remember getting that letter from mom about Brandon's accident, how he ended up in a coma.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
And I
remember that
remember he
happened.
was there to help with the support because I couldn't believe what I read, and I showed him the letter, and I was kind of left speechless. So he kind of helped me like tell the drill instructors about it. And then I went to go try to tell the drill instructors, but I got my ass shoot out by like six of them from not even my fucking platoon. They were from another floor. Who knows who they were? Never even seen them.
Shark attacked you,
Yes,
bro.
I got shark attacked about it, but then my chief, not the chief, but the senior found out, and he let me make the phone call, and it's just devastating to find out there was not a damn thing I can do about it. But I remember the
Yeah.
comfort that my homie did, like, he gave me and shit. We all prayed about it and stuff. So
Shout out your drill instructor too for that.
yeah,
Not a lot of drill instructors will do that.
no,
You know,
not really, and it
not
was
supposed to.
it was neat. And I mean, also Garrett had he was a younger brother, so he also had an older brother that was in 29 Palms too. So he was out there. He had an older brother that was in too. Um, I think he was a corporal at the time when we were in boot camp. So it was pretty cool. But rest in peace to him. He passed away in a motorcycle accident. But it is a good memory of him though. He was such a he had a lot of motivation. He was definitely dedicated to it, and shit, he was full of jokes,
Hmm.
always cracking left and right. And we knew that we were all fucking going through a rough time no matter what. So we knew we were all in it on the same situation, but different backgrounds, different scenarios. But we're all now in the same area, same spot, dealing with the same exact fucking dilemma.
Yeah.
So that was a neat thing, and that's a for me that was a thing down taking a trip down memory lane on with him. And what about you, Johnny? Is there what you got on memory lane? Tell us.
Damn. So if we take a trip down memory lane with me, with young PFC Delgado, fresh into the Marine Corps. I remember the month. I remember like I just remember like it was yesterday. Like how I got to the schoolhouse. So yeah, somehow my ass landed in Lawton, Oklahoma. Um, yeah, I don't know. Don't go out there. And if you're from Lawton, no offense, but like you guys don't have nothing good out there. You know what I'm saying? Except that one good cookie place in the mall. But anyways, let's get back to the story. I got to the schoolhouse in January of 2018, and I remember getting there a little bit right after Christmas leave was ending for a lot of people. So I was in a holding platoon. Um, I was in a thing called Mat Platoon. I believe that's what they called it, Mat Platoon or some shit like that.
Yeah,
And I remember not being in it for too long, but
yeah. It's called Marine Waiting Training.
yeah, Marines awaiting training. Yeah, don't worry, it's nothing stupid. Trust me. Um, but yeah, I was in and I was in a Mat Platoon for like a month, and then I ended up picking up class. I was lucky to pick up class within a month, just waiting there in Fort Sill. That's where I was, Fort Sill. Um, but I remember a particular somebody who stood out, and I think it was because the way people talked about him or like treated him. But he was always a funny dude, and his name was Lance Corporal Bailey. Uh, yeah, I remember meeting Bailey for the first time, and it literally was like meeting somebody off of like King of the Hill or something,
Hmm.
man, or like like Family Guy off a sitcom or something,
Hmm.
like someone funny as hell or something, but just dumb. But it wasn't even like, oh, like you're dumb, like I'm trying to make fun of you. It was just like, I guess that's just how he was, like goofy. And yeah, Bailey was just kind of like, I guess not the smartest. Hey, but neither was I, dude. I freaking like graduated at the bottom of my class, but hey, I still did it. Um, we did it.
Yeah.
Actually, we did it. So to think about that, it's even cooler. I remember he was in my little group. Sorry, I really forget the name of it. But my gun section. Sorry,
Hmm.
yeah, my gun section. And I really forget the my instructor's name, but he was like, whatever. Honestly, I don't really care about him. But I remember Bailey being in my gun section, and I remember he was pretty. Sorry, he was pretty like far behind like everyone else, and a lot of things like strength, knowledge and stuff. A lot of people would be like, "Come on, Bailey, it's easy to do this, do that." But it's like a lot of people don't understand that like we don't all work the same way, dude. You know what I'm saying? So that that's where I understood him too, because it's like, damn, I kind of like see me and him, because like I was never like the smartest, like too growing up. But anyways, yeah, I remember this one time we were out in the gun park and we took the howitzers out there to pretty much like train on, like the gun positions and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I remember we were in the back of the 7 ton, and he was like one of the first and only people I knew who always dipped, dipped chewing tobacco.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember just was like, Bailey, is that shit good? And I remember him being like, yeah, that's why I always have it. Like, you want some? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it, give me a pinch. I guess
Mhm.
that's what you call it, a pinch.
Mhm.
But I forgot, like, literally, we didn't go to the chow hall that day.
Mhm.
Specifically, we didn't go to the chow hall because we had all our gear, like, laid out somewhere. We had our flat Kevlar
Mhm.
laid out somewhere, and there was no one to really watch. So they were just like, all right, we're going to give you fucking MREs. And in boot camp, I got used to eating the tuna MRE,
Mhm.
and that shit was gas. But after that day, I didn't eat it again, bro. So I ate a tuna MRE for lunch,
Mhm.
and I remember I ate that. I like fucked that shit up, dude. And right after, I was like, "Oh yeah, let me get a pinch." So he gave me like a good. He opened, the can of dip,
Mhm.
and I remember like it was like the wintergreen cuts, like,
Yeah.
and like,
Grizzly Wintergreen.
yeah, and then like he was like, he's like, grab some, and I remember grabbing like a
Mhm.
good chunk, bro, and he was like, "No, bro, that's too much," and I'm like, "Nah, are you sure?" He's
Mhm.
like, "Nah, he's like, that's okay actually." I was like, "All right," and then I put it in my lip
Mhm.
right there, let it sit.
Mhm.
I didn't even have it in my mouth for 5 minutes, bro. I didn't even have it in my mouth for 5 minutes. I literally like started feeling it kick in the intensity, dude.
That's
I
how it
was like,
feels.
yeah, I was like, oh
It
shit,
kicks
like
in
what the
fucking
fuck?
far
And I was like,
fast as fuck.
it felt good for a second, right?
Yeah.
But but you know when like it starts to feel too good?
Fucking beaming up hard.
Yeah, I was like, wait, this is not how I'm supposed to feel. So I'm like tripping out, right?
Uh huh.
And I start to feel like nauseous. So I'm like, oh man, I think I'm about to throw up. So like I go to the back of the tailgate of the 7 ton
Mhm.
and I start puking. And I remember I puked all over my Kevlar. No, not my Kevlar, my flak.
Mhm.
And I remember like this was like in the moment they were about to say dismount
Mhm.
because we were practicing drills.
Okay.
As soon as they say, excuse me, as soon as they say dismount,
Mhm.
everyone got out, and I remember just feeling so slow, man. I was just like, oh shit. And I remember him grabbing me. He's like, hey, you good? And I remember like I fell out of the 7 ton. Like I fell out of the 7 ton and I fell on the floor. And then he was like, oh, my instructor was like, what's wrong, Delgado? And
Mhm.
then they're like, oh, Bailey gave him a pinch of dip, and he was like, oh shit, for real? And he was just like, I guess amazed by it, like that shit fucked me up or something. And I remember just feeling sick, and he was like, "Oh well, I mean, you can go sit on the side of the 7 ton." And I remember that like, he was chill about it, so I just sat on the side of the 7 ton on the tire, and I was just like, "Fuck, dude, like hell nah, dude." So I remember like right after we got out of class, I walked back to my like room, where we lived, and I
Mhm.
remember just like knocking out for the rest of the day, dude. And like, yeah, dude. So honestly, that's a very funny moment I had with Bailey. Uh, like I said, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. Um, Rest in peace, brother. Like you will always be remembered for all your hard work and your sacrifices you did for us and Kilo Battery. So may you rest in peace, bro. But yeah. You got any more?
Oh, plenty. So another name that I mentioned was my buddy Honey. So Christian Honey, Corporal Christian Honey. Yeah, we were in boot camp together, and like I said, he was also part of the prayer group, and he was part of like the little end. Not to make fun of anybody, but that's what they call it in boot camp. The little end. It's like the
Yeah, the
people that
short
are
end.
basically 5'9". Yeah, I was part of the little end too. So don't
Like
be.
the big end, little end. Yeah.
Yeah, so the tall folks that were anybody basically above 5'9", you were part of the tall end, and I was 5'9", so I was part of the little end. I literally made the beginning line, so I was like the line leader. So for everybody that's fucking
Line
saying,
leader.
"Oh, you're tall," no, I was part of the line too. So don't
Was a
worry.
line leader, but wasn't a squad leader.
No, I definitely was not a squad leader. I was like at the end. So But yeah, Honey, he was a funny ass fucking dude. Always full of charisma, always full of motivation, and he definitely always tried his best. I mean, he I remember a time he was in the group. He was talking about because I told him he was like, I told him I was like, man, you're really funny, bud. Like, you ever thought about doing comedy and stuff like that? And he's talked about it, and uh, finding out that once we got out of boot camp, we all went our separate ways and everything. And everybody went to their own schoolhouse
Yeah,
and whatnot.
sadly, how it goes.
He ended up going to. I think he was definitely deployed. Can't remember if it was Iraq or Afghanistan, but he definitely deployed. He was out there for a hot minute, came back, and he was doing. He started stand up comedy, and there are videos and clips of him online of his stand up comedy where he gave it a shot, and it
Mm,
was really cool to see one of my Marines, one of my brothers that when I first started in boot camp there, like he was doing his own little thing, and rest in peace to Christian, to you, bud. You were such a great character, man, and I'll never forget when I heard the news about what happened, and may you rest in peace. You don't have to worry about battling your demons no more, man. You're in a better place, and there's damn, like I said, taking down a walk down this memory lane is it's gonna be a while and a long street, but there's a lot of stories to it,
yeah, most
and like
definitely.
you got more.
Yeah, dude.
Go ahead.
So like I said, speaking with my friend Bailey, we ended up actually going to the same unit. We got both stationed in 29 Palms. If you guys know, there's nothing out there, but at the same time, I just have some sort of connection with it now. And obviously, I think that's because I was stationed there for a couple years. Um, Sorry, we got some crazy shit flying over us, but
Yeah, some helicopter, somebody shooting in the fucking background. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, like we were stationed in 29 Palms together. We both got there in March of 2018, and I remember like off the bat, we were like obviously the boots. We were actually like the fresh batch of young Marines
Mhm.
that Kilo battery, my battery that I was attached to.
Mhm.
They didn't get new Marines for like almost a year. So us being boots to them, they were like, ready to like quote unquote haze us and
Yeah.
shit. I don't really believe that I got
Mhm.
hazed, because I've heard worse stories, but like they just
Yeah.
worked us. You know what I'm saying? They just worked us and um, kept tradition going. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, I remember us being in um, like straight out boots, and I remember we had to walk everywhere when we first got there, and none of us want like none of the corporals wanted to give us a ride. They were all being dicks, but I don't know. I guess that was just something they had to do. I'm not sure why, but remember this one time we were just getting ready to go to the field, literally, um, just caught to the freaking fleet within a month, and we're already headed to the field, which I'm not complaining, obviously, because that's our job. Field artillery cannoneer. That's what I was. 0 to 11,
Yeah.
raw. But we started heading out to the field, and I remember we got the dog shit slayed out of us. Yeah, we got the dog shit slayed out of us, and I remember like I was scared to go to sleep, bro, because like I didn't want any of my fucking corporals fucking with me. And I remember Bailey being on my gun section, and I remember being on gun 3
Mhm.
uh at first, and I don't remember his name really like specifically, but I
Mhm.
remember he was a corporal, and he drove this like big yellow dumbass truck, bro, and he thought he was a shit. Sorry, bro. Like he was honestly like a really shitty like NCO.
Mhm.
He was really shitty, and but anyways, yeah, he fucking was my section chief
Mhm.
at the time, and like he fucked me and Bailey up because we were like moving pauses. All right, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We moved. That's what we call it. Move pauses, and we moved different areas. And I remember we were on the end of like the gun,
Mm-hmm.
which we pretty much were holding the gun from the barrel. Dude, it's been so long. I forget what it's called, but pretty
Mm-hmm.
much where we hook it up onto the 7 ton. And for
Yeah.
some reason, like we missed it. Me and him missed it. So like we thought we hooked it on, but we dropped it all the way to the floor.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we got fucked up for that. And I remember like we got to the next pause,
Mm-hmm.
and while everybody was getting the gun ready, um, we did a full a gear out inventory,
Mm-hmm.
like out in the field. Like he made us clear out the whole 7 ton.
That's some bullshit, but yeah.
Yep, clear out the whole 7 ton. Lay out like the tarp and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I remember me and him were like, it was like at like 10 at night, bro. And I remember having our fucking red beams on our head, bro. And I was just like, I was full kit too and everything. But I remember just like getting slayed the dog shit with him, dude. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, fuck, bro. Like, I remember being so mad. I was like, bro, Bailey, why the fuck did you not like, how'd you miss it? But then at the same time, I was like trying to put it all on him when I was holding it too. But nah, dude, like I'll never forget, man. Bailey was just he was a different breed,
Mm-hmm.
man. He was somebody like that comes around once in a lifetime. You won't meet anybody like him. Um, very funny, man. But I think everyone just fucked with him too much. And yeah, man. Bailey was a good man. But I also had like another brother, and it's funny how we met
Mm-hmm.
because he came to the fleet like 2 years after
Mm-hmm.
I was there.
Okay.
So like he came when I first got back from Okinawa on my first UDP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his name was John. We said the same name too, Jonathan,
Mm-hmm.
but his last name was like Plu, and he was a good dude. He was fucking like sick as fuck, man. Like he just like the way we met was funny because like I'm literally walking um to my car. Actually, I'm walking down the hallway
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed he was in my unit because he's living in my building, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's walking down the hallway and he's like, "Oh shit, like you're fresh as fuck," and I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, "What? Like, what'd you say?" And I thought I didn't hear correctly.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Bro, you're fresh, like your fit's like fire," and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, thanks, man." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember him being like one of the first people to like really like just fully like flat out compliment me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it was just cause like oh like I'm trying to like be I don't know. I think he just did it because he genuinely was like oh like he like looks fine,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing him all the time after that, and he would just call me Fresh. It was funny. He's like, "What's up, Fresh?" And like um he was I think he was supply. I think so, but he was like I may be wrong. Sorry if I get your MOS wrong, bro, but um yeah, he was just like always like oh when are you gonna send me your shoes or this and that because I guess I always had the flyest kicks around in the barracks. No offense, anyone
Mm-hmm.
in 311 kilo battery. I was the flyest there, and no one could say anything else. But anyways, yeah, man, Plu always wanted to like steal my swag, and not even like on some like oh like I'm trying to be like you, but he was just like oh man like you're dope man like you're pretty cool, and like we generally like we're just chill like that like
Yeah.
he wasn't like my best friend or anything, but like like it's crazy how like a friendship can start like just by something like small like that, like a small gesture. Imagine if he never said that to me, I probably would have never met him, you know. But I ended up getting out way before him, and he stayed in. But unfortunately, his life was really cut short while he was still in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just wrong place, wrong time, stuff. But yeah, rest in peace to Plu, man, my brother. You're still being remembered. You're still being talked to this day, man. Like you'll never be forgotten.
Yeah.
You
Story
know
carries on forever.
exactly, man. This is what Memorial Day is all about, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because going back to the topic about Memorial Day, um, we both used to just not care about it really as kids, or like as teenagers growing up. Like I was telling my brother, Gio, before he went into the service, like it was just another day off from school. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But now that we both spent some time in the service and we really just went through it, we really understand like the significance and the importance of like why Memorial Day is celebrated here in the United States. And it's just not just for people in the the service, anyone who was a police officer, a firefighter, anyone who was just like law enforcement, like you like people who are just out there willing to like risk their lives, like kind of like that. That's how I see it. Um, but Memorial Day is and will always be important to me and my brother here, most definitely, because this is the time where like you know they'll be remembered every day, but
Mhm.
like today is like, all right, man, like today shouldn't be a day where like people get together, discounts or like let's go get drinks,
Yeah.
let's go get party, like let's go do this, let's do that, like no, actually like look up the meaning behind Memorial Day and see
Mhm.
before you try to celebrate off of it. You know what I'm saying?
No, true.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just memory lane for me. Thank God, I only had it was two people that I've
Mhm.
unfortunately lost. I hope I don't lose any more brothers, but just know if you guys are hearing this, just know like it may be difficult out being in the service still, starting your life as a civilian and whatnot, but just know that like you got brothers who care about you, you got people who love you guys.
True.
Um, yeah, most definitely know. Like just know you are important to somebody and you are somebody in this world and you have a
Mhm.
purpose. Your purpose is just to go find it,
Mhm.
yourself, and find your own purpose. Like, but yeah, man, like Memorial Day is more than just yeah, all
Yeah,
that
no,
stuff.
and like jumping on the same board you were saying there, um, it's you were just saying like it's not just a regular schmegler holiday
Yeah,
now. No, it's honoring those the loved ones and the fallen ones that like are no longer here with us, and just know that if you're ever going through problems, like my brother mentioned, I mean, there are people you can talk to. If you're having a drinking problem or a drug problem, we all fall into issues, into dilemmas and hardships. But reach out to one another. We are there for one another, and whether you are in the service or not, this is for everybody and anybody. There's hotlines out there. Don't think that you're by yourself in this world, because you're not. And if you wrap yourself in this idea that you think you're by yourself, then you're wrong, because you're not. There is
yeah,
help out there for everybody, regardless of how you see it. There is help. There's hotlines. There's folks you can reach out to. It is doable. It is doable. So, if you are going through a hard time in life, just know there is a tomorrow. And for some of us, like, it's not the end of the world, and think about it, it's, I get it. For some folks, that's the only way out is the only way out is to exit,
yeah,
exit the game. And I'll never understand that on that behalf, but everybody has their own reasoning behind it. But for the folks out there, that you're going through a hard life and you think you want to end it, don't, because there's a lot of people now. Like today, now we're here sitting and we're talking about you guys when you guys can be here with us today. You could have been here celebrating this day, remembering your loved ones instead of being the one that you're being remembered. And it's
exactly.
unfortunate, but man, shit, I got a couple more people. So another trip down the street down memory lane is my buddy Tyler Armbruster, Corporal Armbruster. I wear him on my wrist all the time. But he was with TAP next door, the
Mhm.
Target Acquisition Platoon. And so I met him specifically. Well, he belonged to the third floor, but we were on the same barracks
Yeah.
on N Street, and he was really cool guy. We actually met in the range. We were down at the pit when we first started. So that's how we met, and he was telling me about his life, and that he's gonna get married, and he ended up getting married and everything. And um, I know that he loved riding his motorcycle too. He had a bike too, and I don't remember exact bike, but we bonded really well over when we met at the range, and we kept in touch ever since.
Mm-hmm.
We say what's up and chit chat. And there was a time where they even um, he was I guess how do you say it again when you get moved to another your temporary like unit your
Oh, you got fapped?
yeah, so he got fapped out
Okay,
to
yeah.
being a gay guard, to gay duty.
Oh, damn it.
So yeah, I remember I would see him from time to
Bullshit.
time at the gate, and we would say what's up and chit chat with him and everything. But I also remember the day, being at your service down at the church across the street from N Street from the barracks where we lived, and just remembering the roll call and they called your name, and you weren't there to answer, but you're in a better place, and it was a freak show accident that happened too, with a motorcycle accident as well. Um, but I know you're always being remembered, bud, and I know for a fact, you were married, and I know you at least left an offspring in this world. I was aware of that, and I wish your wife and your son, I believe he was your son. I hope they're healthy and everything. I hope they're doing well. And I know you're up there, in the gates of heaven and watching down as well. But the list goes on. There's still about two more folks that I will roll into, and another one was his name was Tyler Carey, actually Corporal Carey. He was also a corporal as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when I met him, he was a lance, and he was part of maintenance platoon. He was not with our unit. He was with another unit. They were separate. They were basically called third. So what we would do is we would work on the truck to a certain amount as for the mechanic side, and what we couldn't do, like engine swaps and big shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
we would send it to third, and they would do the engine swaps. They would do the big shit,
Okay.
but that's what they specialized in. It was the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
We did also as well, like we did specialize in and working on the trucks and stuff and driving them, but they were the ones that, like, if something needed to be big swapped out, they would take care of it. And it was a big fucking place to go to, big old warehouses, like it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But the stories with Carrie is he was a when I met him, he was a lance, and he was very cool because they sent him, his buddy Bean, and there was another guy. I wish I remember his name too. But they were really cool guys. They came and they helped, man. They were hard fucking chargers. They worked so fucking hard. And because we were having a time where we had to stay overtime and late hours, we had a thing called phase mode inspection coming up, so we really had to get these trucks up and running,
Yeah.
long hours and shit. So they were there and they would hang out with us. So we started hanging out and building a bond, and it got to a point where we created this group called the Charleston Boys. So we would go down to Charleston, South Carolina. We would make a trip,
Mm-hmm.
and my buddy Kevin, I'm not gonna say his last name because he's still in the service, but he there was a soccer group that he liked, a minor league, and it was really cool. So we went down there to see the soccer game. It was a group of us, and it was fun. Like we went a couple times. The second time, I believe we went out there, he was there too. Carrie
Mm-hmm.
was out there, and we just had a time of our life. They treated us really good. It was nice because they really liked the Marines, so they
Yeah.
loved us, gave us free drinks and food. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I remember we were already drinking throughout the day. So at night, it was just like, all right, time to go out and explore the town. We went to, shit, I remember going to, like, I'm not really a big club person at all, but I had my fair share of going to different clubs, bars, and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that's not my thing. It's not. I'm all awkward as fuck and just standing there in the corner all weird and shit. Uh, looking like the hunchback of Notre Dame. So I was just chilling there. But my buddies were having a blast. And I just remember, like, we went out to Charleston that time, and waking up in the morning, fast forward throughout the whole night, it was a great night. That's all I gotta say. There's a lot to it, but great night. And woke up in the morning. I think somehow Carrie had a fucking stop sign from the front yard. I don't know how it ended up in the backyard, but he was trying to put it back, and it was the funniest fucking thing ever. But um, no, he was such a great Marine, and it was cool because like he was such into social media, so he loved making shorts, like a little YouTube. Even before YouTube Shorts were a thing, he liked making little clips. So he had a bunch of Instagram clips,
Yeah.
and he made YouTube videos. I can probably try to look it up, but he kind of reminded me of Hitman. He kind of looked like Hitman.
Hitman.
From the game Hitman. You'll
Hmm.
see him. He even dressed up as him one time. So there is pictures, but he was such a character, and you would have never imagined that he was facing his own demons. He was struggling with his own demons, and just would have never imagined that that they got the best out of him one day. And I remember getting the call and finding out the news that it happened, and just couldn't believe it. To this still to this day, he was such
Yeah.
a character, and you would have never imagined somebody like that, such a character with so much charisma and life. And they're always joking that deep down
Yeah.
inside they were battling some stuff, and but he'll be forever remembered as well, and rest in peace as
Rest in peace,
well.
brother.
And um, also there's my boy Ortega, rest in peace as well, him. But there's a lot I can say about him. He was one of my main boys. We go way back all the way to shit. I want to say because we met at the schoolhouse, so it
Hmm.
was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, or known as Fort Lost in the Woods, because it was an base, army joint base unit. So there was a bunch of different branches there: Marines, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, you
Hmm.
name it, they were there. But the main branch was Army, because
Yeah.
that's where they still did basic training there. So it's kind of awkward to see him because you see basic training people and then different branches and
So that
shit.
kind of was like at Lawton too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
But that's when I met my boy Ortega, and he was different. He's a real G. He was definitely a real G for sure. Um, One of the most respectful OGs I've ever met. To be respectful about that, he was a real OG. He was very humble and very respectful about it. He was never ever out there pressing anybody or causing a commotion. He was one of the most humbling people I've met, and I
damn.
learned a lot from him. And there is a lot of stories with him, but some of the good stories like were the times when I I remember I think we must have had I think Thanksgiving together or some shit like that. If it wasn't Thanksgiving, I remember like when you got your apartment, because when we got to receiving,
Hmm.
he was already getting in the process of getting married. So
Oh
his
shit.
wife
Yeah.
just came up, and in the meantime, I helped him move into his apartment in town, and
Yeah.
I remember that. And there are the times we'd go over to his house and hang out, or hang out with Lingo and shit. I'm not gonna say his full name too, to just help him out, but we'd all hang out, or with Verity too. It was cool, and I miss the guys too. I really do. But with Jay, it was different because there was times where not always we seen eye to eye, but it might have just been me honestly, because he was a respectful, humbling dude, and um, we've had our fair share, especially when he had his dog Macho. That shit was funny. He had a red nose pit bull, beautiful red nose. And he had it with him, but apparently out there in North Carolina, and this was when he was living out in town, but
Hmm.
not on the base, but on town. People still make a big deal about the dog. So he ended up having to give it up to his dad and gave the dog back. But he had the dog Macho for a minute, and he was a character though. He wasn't there to cause actual mayhem, but he definitely was a character himself. Um, but with Ortega, there's a lot. There was the times where like for PT, you know, we were out there fucking getting slayed out on runs and stuff like that. I just remember looking over at him, and he's just fucking laughing and shit. Or or even like well, we were even rack mates too. We were actually rack mates at the schoolhouse. So once we got into our actual because we were waiting to get into our barracks. We were still in the MAT platoon,
Yeah.
but we were coming already like I guess seniors there. So they moved us to different barracks, but we were rack mates too. And he was like all night he would just be chit chatting with his fiance at the time,
Mhm.
and all chit chatting all the time. But I remember one time like we were out in the back at the where the Humvees were and shit, just fucking around, and we decided to all just start wrestling. And so I asked him, I was like, "You want to wrestle?" He was like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah," I'm being cocky as shit, thinking I'm like, "No problem, whatever, fuck it." Little did I know that he actually was legit a fucking real wrestler. He actually wrestled in high school and shit. Was actually really good at it.
Well,
And
damn.
I landed on my ass faster than I can blink. I remember that. So I learned a lot from him with when it came down to wrestling. He taught me a lot on that. But he also taught me patience and if you're gonna be, a real G, like Little Wayne said, real G's move in silence like lasagna and lasagna, and it's true. You keep your mouth shut and you do you do
Yeah.
it,
Mind
take
your
care of it.
business.
But it's he did his time too in the service, and I was very very proud of him too. He's such a character, man. Honestly, there's a lot to say. There's a lot to say about him, and I just remember him. Shit, I remember when his little brother came over too from Texas, because they're from Texas,
Mhm.
and he came over and gave his brother a haircut. And I remember, man, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry, dude. I know you asked for a fucking like what was it, like temple fade? Like it was just a yeah, it was not something extreme. I think I gave you a fucking high fade or something, dude. It's I fucked up, my bad, dog. But hey, I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to like cut your hair too. So I respect it, and I respect it. But I would always cut Ortega's hair too. I'd go over and cut his hair,
Yeah.
or he'd come over to the barracks, vice versa. But a lot of memories I remember with him. A lot of the good ones, bad ones, nah, nah. The memories, valuable lessons, yes. But other than that, he's a great person, and rest in peace, man. It was sad to hear the news a couple months ago that you're no longer with us here no more, and shit, man, it blows my mind sometimes to think about it because I learned a lot of valuable lessons with you. I spent good memories with you and shit, and it it hits different.
Yeah.
It does, but at least you're not suffering no more. You don't have
Better
to
place,
stress no
man.
more, and it is what it is.
Mhm.
But it's we take down memory lane and everything. It like um yeah, we go down memory lane. Well, that's as far as I go down memory lane for now. Like you say, I hope not to hear more brothers in arms that we've lost, and for all the other folks out there, like my love bug's grandpa. He served too in World War II. For my buddy Tim, his grandpa also was the fucking top dog shooter in the Marine Corps. Um, I believe he was either a master sergeant or master guns. So big respect to him. But he also served, and remembering him and all the other folks that we know, and Miz also to like Sergeant Anderson too. Rest in peace, or I know you're not no longer here in this world, but it was an honor to meet you at the Marine Corps ball. I remember when your son brought you out, and it was cool. We had a fucking blast. I remember you had a fucking blast. You were out there dancing and shit, and time of your life, man. And it was an honor to meet you. So you're in a better place now, sir. And like I said, we're not gonna forget you either.
Rest in peace.
But there there's a lot of folks that we've known, and like I said, they're no longer here. But that shouldn't stop us from continuing our life, and And like I said, if you're ever having issues with life, either reach out to me in the podcast. Like I said, I'll leave my email in the description. You can always reach out to me. I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk. Whatever, we can communicate one way or another. There's always somebody out there. If not, I can help you find help. There is help.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to judge you guys on your story. So whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're struggling in life, like reach out to me. That's fine. I'll listen. I'll be out there to listen to you guys. And um, I also wanted to go over, as the episode was a very serious one. As just you guys are hearing this, it's kind of like flip it a little bit, and wanted to talk about the strain of the week, like I always do in every single episode. So before you guys go out there and get crazy, um, whatever, like I'm not actually gonna throw the strain of the week. It's just whatever you out there, whatever's helping you out, help you out. For each and one of us, if you're having a drink for your loved ones, have a drink. If you're having a smoke, have a smoke for your loved ones. But this isn't about the sale, so I'm not really gonna do like promotion on this. No commercial, really. I'm gonna throw it out for this episode because this isn't really about celebration. If it was Veterans Day, that's different. Yeah, I'm gonna throw out a commercial, Veteran Day sales and shit, whatnot. But this is more of a serious note.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys, every single episode, you know what I say and how I say it. I'm not condoning it. I don't promote it for you guys to smoke, but you guys do you. Mind your business. I do me. To each their own. So, like I said, we're gonna start wrapping it up on this episode for Memorial Day. But I wanted to go over uh one more thing actually, which was to be like to talk about a couple songs. If there's a couple songs that song of the week or songs of the week, is there anything, Jonathan, that you had in mind, or any songs you've been listening to?
Man, me, man. Oof, right. That's the right person. Honestly,
They're not like us. I
song
got you.
song of the week. Honestly, I've been fucking with shout out Ian. Y'all know who Ian is? He's up next out of St. Louis. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hmm.
He just dropped his debut mixtape called Valedictorian. Go listen to that shit. I'm telling you, front to back, that shit slap. Honestly, he had a song called Airbnb on that shit. Oof, Airbnb just like go that should go crazy. I would play snippet right now, but like I got my phone inside. But definitely go check out Valedictorian by Ian. Like literally just IAN. He's probably the hardest motherfucker out right now. Yeah, Airbnb, Bentayga, Hermes Sheets. What else? What else? You got Grand Slam. Yeah, bro. But yeah, shout out Ian. He's doing his thing. He's like I said, the underground. If you
Hmm.
really pay attention to the underground scene right now, it's really important. And I think it's funny because like me and my brother have like different tastes in music, and like no offense, but he's not really like tapped into the underground like I am, and it's cool because like whatever he puts me on, I get to put him on too, which is like that's dope. But man, I've just been listening to so much shit. I can go on and on, but like yeah, shout out Ian, shout out who else I've been listening to? Yachty and the team, Concrete Boys.
Nice.
Shout out DC2 Trail, Draft Day, Camo, Caribou. They're doing
Hmm.
their thing. About to go hit on tour. Um, shit. Kanye for president 2024. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I can't hate on that. I mean, a couple songs that I was out there for y'all, because I would play a snippet too, but I ain't trying to get copyrighted.
Yeah, hell nah.
So just throw it out for you guys. There's one from Suicide Boys, I No Longer Fear. Not Even Ghosts Are This Empty. That's a
Hmm.
really good song. Another one is by Maxo Cream. No, Then You a Hoe. Great song. Definitely should check it out. But I wanted to give a special shout out to Little Man Jay. I know you've been an upcoming artist up in YouTube and everything, and you've been doing really good, man. A lot of folks, you say you call yourself the what is it? The other version of Little Baby. Sound just like Little Baby. But you're doing really well, man. And I know if you get to hear this episode, very, very proud of you. You just dropped a new song for everybody out there that are looking for a new song. It's a different. I know you rap, but you kind of changed it up into the country song. So for everybody out there, looking for a new song, it is country. Look it out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Whiskey for the Wine. It's a catchy song. I mean, the country's not for everybody.
Yeah, but you gotta be versatile. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He's doing versatile things. You gotta be.
Yeah,
So he's an
and
artist.
it's really cool. And a couple artists out there like Post Malone started doing country too and everything, which is really cool. I mean, hey, to each their own, like I said. But yeah. So those are a couple songs for the. Or also Meet the Sixers. That's a mixtape that was dropped by Big X, The Plug, Rosama, and Young Hood. So if you guys want to check out something, there's a mix for mixing music, and it's like I say, like my brother said too. We listen to two different ends of the spectrum too on music, but there's a variety for everybody.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I want to say one more thing. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
my boy. Shout out my boy Kelcan. Shout out my boy Balance. They just dropped some heat. Go fuck with Kelcan. He killed it. He just dropped his debut album out now. He's a local. He's from Vista. Support that shit. You know what I'm saying? And my boy Balance, JSK. Fuck with them. They got some new shit coming up. And stay tuned. Hood One is out and about.
So like I said, you guys, thank you for tuning in for Memorial Day special, and also want to say thank you again, Jonathan, for being on this episode.
Yeah,
Looking
thank you,
forward
man.
to having you host more with me, more upcoming ones, even learning about what Hood One is since you dropped the name. We'll do that for another episode, so stay tuned for
Yeah, we gotta save
everybody.
that one for a different episode for
Yeah,
sure.
and like I said, thank you guys for helping me break the 300 count for total views. But let's try to get the numbers up. We got to 300. Why not get to 4? Let's make it a 5, and so on.
Let's add another zero to that.
Let's definitely make that happen,
Saying,
you guys. But like I said, thank you guys for tuning in on today's episode, and thank you for listening to Around the Loop.